Hey guys, it's Jedi Lex, and welcome back to the second episode of Beyond Tatooine, where I bring on different collectors to talk about where their love of Star Wars originated, and also take a look at their collection and kind of chat with them about things that they have. And on this week's episode, we have Patrick from the Poptography channel. So, Patrick, how are you doing today?
Good, Lex. Thanks for having me on. Doing very good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good as well. So, can you tell us a little bit about your channel, what you kind of focus on, and where people can find you?
Sure. I go by Poptography YT, standing for YouTube. So you can find me there. Basically, I do creative images of Star Wars Funko Pops, my versions of unboxings, what's in the box. I also have a segment that we do movies that inspired the pop, on which I actually had you on as a guest. So,
Yes, that's
uh,
very fun.
and then, as most people know, we also do the Star Wars podcast together with our buddy Christopher up in Canada. So, that's typically where you could find me and kind of what I'm up to, is just, always taking a cool Star Wars Funko Pop and trying to put it in and recreate a scene or something like that with it. And just kind of having fun.
Yeah. So, any new upcoming events or cool videos that you got planned?
I do have some cool videos. So I've been doing one like Christmas video a week with a new
Mhm.
Christmas image.
Yeah.
So this week I just dropped my custom Grogu one that I did. So that was kind of fun. And I have worked on another Grogu image with the new Grogu in this pram. So that'll be dropping, I think, Monday. So I'm very excited to get those images shot and done. And I don't know. The thing is, lately it's been there's so many new ones that one that Funko keeps pumping out, right? And I keep getting
Yep.
those. I'm like, oh, and then there's other ones that I finally acquired that were my personal grails, and I'm like, oh, I want to shoot that. And then I've been thinking like, oh, but if I shoot that, I want to create this diorama, so it leads to more procrastination and picking up other ones and having another idea. And it really depends too. Like sometimes
Mhm.
depending on what you're watching or you get inspired by, makes you go and do something. Sometimes it's someone does a cool image on Instagram that kind of just like, oh, it was really cool. I saw one, for instance, the other day. Someone out there did it was the Rocketeer, and the way he had him, it was posed. The figure he had like the rockets go like they're stuttering to kick on, and then boom, and the light flickering on the figure. It was really cool effect how he did it. I was like, that was really neat. Small
Yeah.
little animation. I wish now I'm thinking like, how could I do that with mine? Especially when they had those really cool acrylic bases on the Funkos with like a lot of the Mandalorians and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so it gave me food for thought for later, but it was just cool to see how he pulled it off. I really liked it. Um,
Nice.
and I'm always kind of inspired by what I've watched, like during the Ahsoka series. I was able to do that Ahsoka and the Anakin scene with the Funko Pop. Took a little bit of Photoshop to get the Anakin the way we want it. Still hoping that we'll get an Anakin like that, but it was just fun nevertheless to do that. And again, being inspired by the people like Filoni, doing his Filoni thing, Filoni verse.
Mhm.
So I it comes from everywhere.
Yeah. No, that Anakin picture that you did was probably one of my favorite images. Like
Oh, thank
I love Anakin. He's probably one of my favorite characters. So I think getting to see that side of him because we have that Sith Anakin Funko Pop with the yellow eyes and, the
yeah.
red lightsaber, but we don't have that like, Revenge of the Sith Anakin where we kind of see him before he transitions. So I feel like getting to see that was like really awesome and I hope that Funko does make something similar to that cuz I feel like I just would love to have more Anakin pops, and
I
especially
do
something like
too.
that.
I
So,
I do too, and I really love that whole world between worlds with Ahsoka and him. I hope, fingers crossed, we get a Kanan and Ezra moment like that somewhere in the series. That would be
I hope so.
epic, especially now that he's in the other galaxy.
Mhm.
Maybe needing to call out to someone because when it comes to Force, he's really alone over there. He doesn't know Luke or anybody. So it would be really interesting to see what happens.
I think it would be kind of interesting too if maybe he connects with Jason and like somehow has this like connection with Jason because of canon, because that's
Yeah,
his son.
I
So maybe he
100%,
connects, you know,
I
like
100% think he's going to take him on as his
yeah.
Padawan. What?
Oh,
Who?
100%.
Who? Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
And
why not?
those stories to go forward in the future. Come on,
He got taught
come
by his,
on.
taught by the father and will teach his son. But I think having that connection, like with his father, as having Canon as his master, I think would be a great way to kind of segue Jason into becoming a Jedi. And they already kind of like hinted at him having, the Force abilities and being able to see Ahsoka in the world between worlds without actually seeing her. So he's definitely Force sensitive to an extent. So I think that that'll be pretty cool. I'm definitely very excited for Ahsoka season 2. So that needs to,
Oh yeah, me too.
needs to
Me
come
too.
out.
I think they did a fantastic job with what they had. Again, using lines that we've heard over and over, a galaxy far, far away. And, it
Yeah,
was so well done, the
it was
whole
perfect.
concept. And it just gets deeper. The lore gets deeper. Things that if we've seen the Clone Wars, it's taken on a new and deeper meaning. So very excited for all that stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Is
I'm sure I'm going to play into it in my images, in the future. Like I know I want to do a 3D kind of like the Rebels mural print. I want to
okay.
get one of the Mortis gods. Um,
Oh yeah.
I want something like that. That would be cool. And if I could get like a stone recreation of the Mortis god, the father with the hand, that just so I could set that
Ooh.
in the backdrop. Like
Yeah. I mean,
I'd love
especially
that.
with the Balin Funko Pop that we got, you could like totally recreate that end scene.
Right?
That would be
Right. That's
crazy.
that's exactly what's
Yeah,
going on in my head. Like if I could get that just
for
as something I
sure.
could put in the background, that would be dope. That
Yeah,
would be
that would be
dope.
crazy. So I mean,
Yes.
we are talking about, projects that we've just gotten. Is there anything that is coming up that you're most excited for? The Acolyte, Bad Batch,
You know what? I
anything?
am excited to see this new Acolyte because I think I
Mhm,
saw one of those little someone, put what they could of the trailer up. And from
mhm,
what I saw, it looked pretty awesome. Like I think we're in for a ride.
definitely.
I'm interested to see how that all plays out and everything, but it looked pretty cool to me.
Yeah,
Again, I come from the old school, like the OG, so I had 3 movies for years, 30 some years, you know what I mean?
yep,
30 years. So that's all you had. And you had it in many renditions of VHS,
for sure.
everything. So I was very excited to get more. And so if they're going to continue some great stories, interesting characters, I'm all for it. I'm all for
Yeah,
it. Like, I wouldn't say with the sequel trilogy, I was a huge fan of it all. You had me with Force Awakens, kind of rebooted, and then I think there's scenes and great act pieces that portray what to me is Star Wars in the sequel
mhm,
trilogy, but I wouldn't say the story was the best. I think that's where it falls apart for a lot of people.
yeah,
It wasn't consistent. There's things that we would have rather have seen brought to screen or anything besides having to really explain why certain things didn't go unanswered or answered in the other film. So, you know what I mean? There's too much of that, and
yep,
that I don't have. We don't have time for that. You've longed for this. You wait so many years for another one to come out, and you
yep,
expect it to be a banger. So I don't know. I enjoyed pieces of it, and that's what I do when I watch. I watch like scenes, really good
yep,
scenes, and it kind of tells the story for the most part. Some of the other I don't need to care about it, but and again, you watch any of these films, and there'll be certain things that you like and dislike. I know for me, I always wanted Wookiees in Return of the Jedi, and I had Ewoks. As I got older, I understood, okay, and there's a time and a place and a reason. And I never minded them when I was younger, and it wasn't that I had dislike for them, but I wanted Wookiees, man. Like I wanted to see more of those guys, because I could honestly see a pack of Wookiees defeating a bunch of Imperials, but the Ewoks was kind of like, not so much.
yeah.
So
Little cutesy thing. I mean, I think there is gonna be an like a Wookiee. Jedi in one of the new projects that coming out. I don't know if it's Skeleton
I
Crew or
heard
the
that.
Acolyte. I think it's one of the two, but they're gonna kind of have like a Wookiee that is a Jedi. So I feel like
I
that's gonna be pretty
saw.
cool to see. Maybe that'll
Yeah,
be like your dream come true.
because we only had like the in Gunji, really in
Yep.
the Clone Wars
Yep.
stuff that we really learned. So this would be really cool. I am excited to see that, and I think Giannis or whatever, the guy who does the normal, I think he's playing that character too, possibly. So that'd be cool.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see. But I guess let's go to the beginning. Who kind of introduced you to Star Wars?
So my parents took me to the Tri-State Mall to go see it, and yeah, like when we lived outside Philadelphia area, and it was like huge. Like I was knee high to a grasshopper. I was just about to go into kindergarten. We go to the movie, and we've gone to this movie theater hundreds of times, right? We've seen everything there,
Hmm.
and this is the first time I'm standing. It's a crowd. Like we're wrapped around the movie theater, and we're
Oh wow.
waiting. And as a little kid, you're just standing there, and like all these big people are standing there, so you're kind of like, what the heck? And it is crowded, and there's a buzz, and people are talking. I mean, I didn't know. I thought they're giving away something. I don't know. I thought maybe they're giving away a car. I have no idea why this many people are at the movies tonight. So there was that. And then, we got in, we got our concessions and everything. And I remember them like, oh, this is like going to be like as big, like King Kong big. And so I'm like, okay. So we sit down and, the music and the crawls going. And then I've said this probably hundreds of times, but it's that scene with the Star Destroyer coming over and over and over, engulfing the screen, giving chase to Princess Leia's ship. That to me that had me hook, line, and sinker every time. To this day, watching that, it's hard for me to even say that A New Hope isn't my top Star Wars film,
Hmm.
because that scene, it had everything I wanted and everything I dreamt about. Like it was a great, for me, it was the movie to hit home. And that first scene hooked me in. I was like, I don't know what this is. This isn't the Flash Gordon black and whites that I'd watch with my uncle, who was a big guy, I guess, who introduced me to a lot of the sci-fi stuff.
Hmm.
This is way cooler than that. Like look at this.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
it blew me away. It blew me away.
Yeah, I could only imagine. Like, I wish I came from that time where I was able to go to the movie theaters and see the OG movies. Like, I wish, because I was so little even when they did the prequel movies. Like, I
Yeah.
was early, I was like not even walking, talking, like nothing. Like, I was probably about a year or two old when those came out. So, like, even then I wouldn't remember it. But then I got to see, the sequels in the movie theater and I was like, okay, but I wish that I could have experienced that. And I did get to
Uh,
actually see Return of the
it.
Jedi in theaters. So that
I
was
wish
really
I
cool.
could go back, because I mean, I have that like intimate connection with seeing that film for the first time.
Yeah,
Just why it just Again, you're a kid,
for
like
sure.
7 years old, like 6, 7 years old, and I'm watching this giant movie screen get engulfed with space. Right, I'm looking into the vastness of space. This small starship goes by. Used to seeing that, right? Oh, cool, yeah.
Hmm.
Then this ship comes by, and it's going for miles. And then by the time it passes, you got these big blue engines just slowly giving chase. I was like, whoa, that was badass. As a kid, you're
Hmm.
just like, oh my god, it was. I felt like the kid from The Incredibles. Like that was the coolest thing ever. Like it was awesome. It was that
Yeah.
was it. That was it. It was totally awesome. And so, then you have Darth Vader like enter that first scene. Something's going on there. Now you're tossed right
Hmm.
into it. So there's no way that didn't captivate your attention right from the get-go. Like boom, boom, boom. And it hit. It was like, ooh, we're right in it. We know good guys, bad guys. This guy in the black, man, you don't want to mess with him. It was
Yeah.
just awesome. And so that, I think, got me hooked. And then as the series continued, the three films that I had for 30 odd years, that was it. And
Hmm.
so, I loved all of them. And I think going from that experience to Empire, it was also, as I was growing up, I think I understood more, yeah, more moral to the story, or there's something deeper to it by the time Empire hit. I think just cognitively going from kindergarten to that point, obviously I'm going to kind of think more, but that movie really had me asking a lot more about, like, wow, this is a lot cooler. That there's a lot more mystique to this movie. I don't know all of it right now, but I'm sinking my teeth into it because this is great. And I loved Empire, and at the time, like, I never saw a movie where the heroes didn't win, right? The heroes always won. This
Yeah.
one, they totally, like, they had a little cheerful reunion at the end, but that's about it. But they pretty much got their butts handed to them. So that was even cool to me. Like, wow, like a movie can end like that, like where the heroes don't outright win and the bad guys pretty much do. And the good guy, the hero has been maimed. Like, how's he fighting in the future? Like, he's been maimed. Like, so it was crazy. Like, so the reveal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that must have been crazy.
as a kid watching, I was like, no way, no way.
Yep.
So
I probably would
I
have
don't
the
know.
same way.
I kind of want to go back to see what I would love to have seen what my reaction was at that point. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been like, no.
Probably would have been priceless. So would
Yeah.
you say Empire's your favorite movie?
I would say Empire is my favorite. It really,
Huh?
I mean, it just, the first movie is great. You're kind of on the Death
Mhm.
Star and you're on the desert plain. But I really liked, all the different places we went in Empire, as well as the whole Hoth scene in the beginning was just
Yeah.
insane. That was insane. I loved it. I don't know why. It just, that became like, like the winter thing, when,
Yep.
so
Oh, even yep.
I loved it. I just thought that was a really cool, I don't know. Maybe is it just because you're a kid and you live in an area where it snows, so like, okay, now you're going out and you're playing in it, and now you're it's Star Wars, right? You got snow
Yep.
troopers and there's an AT-AT coming at you. So you did what you did and you played with your figures, and you probably froze your fingers off, lost a few figures, at least a weapon or two.
Yep.
You definitely lost a blaster out in the snow for sure. Always
100%.
happened.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a good movie. It's definitely solid. I definitely have episode 3 is probably going to be my favorite just cuz I love that kind of aspect of it, but I do have a much more, I don't know, like I have a founder appreciation for the OGs. I think that they're awesome, and I feel like if they were made in this time, like with the CGI effects that we have and everything, it would be insane. And I'm honestly
Oh,
kind of surprised Disney hasn't done like kind of remade some of the scenes and like just improve it
like
a
that
little bit.
one
But
Vader Kenobi scene, the fan
yeah,
made one. That is so
yeah,
hype. That is ridiculous.
yeah,
I'd love to see like little cuts of like that, add it back in, like make it, give it a little more spice.
yep,
That
for
was
sure,
insanely good. Insanely
definitely.
good.
So we've talked about your favorite movie. Do you have a favorite show? Could be live action, could be animated, whatever.
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. That is a
Yeah,
tough. All
it
right.
is a tough. I mean, you could do one
I
live
can
action,
split it
one
in two. All
animated.
right. I can split it
Yeah,
in two.
yeah.
All right.
We'll split it.
Show.
I know it's a tough one.
Wow. See, I was gonna say the Mandalorian over,
Okay.
but then there's Ahsoka. So
Yep.
man, that's a tough one. Man, you put me in a tough spot. Uh yeah, I'm gonna say I like Ahsoka. I
Yep.
do like Ahsoka, and I want to see where it's gonna take me. But I've loved the Mandalorian until then. If it's
Yep.
anime or what animated, it's got to be Star Wars Rebels. I
Rebels.
thought,
Okay.
yeah, I really thought that it was something different. It was new characters that I personally got invested in. I loved the music that Kevin Kiner did. I loved the animation style. I loved the color palette because there
Yep.
was a particular color palette. Each of the characters I really truly enjoyed. I mean, Chopper became my ultimate droid. Like, I love Chopper. He's the
Yep.
best.
For
So
sure.
it has to be Rebels, And I tried to see a lot of I love Clone Wars, I love Bad Batch. Those are great, and I love their cinematic style too.
Mhm.
But I still liked Rebels. There's so much going on in that, and I'm glad that it's kind of continued into Ahsoka. So I kind of think with those two, kind of make it so because I get more out of the two together, I guess, as one. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that's why. But I do like, I did like the Mandalorian. I think season 3 didn't hit as much as a lot of us wanted it to, but
Yep.
there's still good pieces in it. I loved the first 2 seasons were great. Were
Yes.
absolutely great.
Especially
And we'll
that
see
Luke
what we get.
reveal.
Yeah, I hope we get more of like Luke and stuff like that in the future, but we'll see.
We will see. Yeah, I was gonna say Mando, but then we got Ahsoka, and I feel like that totally like swept the board for me because it gave me that Clone Wars. It gave me the live action Clone Wars. It gave me live action Rebels. Like I feel like it was everything I've ever wanted from Star Wars in
Yeah,
one, with like my favorite character Ahsoka being, well, honestly, I don't even feel like she was the main antagonist. Like I feel like it was almost kind of Sabine,
Sabine,
or the
right?
protagonist. Yeah, I almost felt like it should have been Sabine, not Ahsoka. But
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree with you on that because there's so much. I think they needed to put that focus on her to shift you to see where she's going, in the
yeah,
future. Um, but
definitely.
yeah, I agree with that statement. It did seem very Sabine heavy.
And like I wonder why. Like it was Sabine heavy. I get that she has that, clearly something has shifted in her from when Rebels ended to now, with Ezra leaving and things and kind of having that turmoil inside, but like
Yeah,
where are they going with that?
you
I
know what
wonder,
I was wondering?
you know.
Is it because you just have the name of the show is obviously the main, but we don't always have to focus on it because you're going to get the main throughout the whole, but
Mhm.
you can focus episodes or portions of seasons on particular characters just to vet them out through this story, because I think we saw a lot of that with Bo-Katan in season 3
That is true.
of Mando.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the Bo-Katan show, like, to
Yep, that
me.
was definitely her season.
Right? So
Yep.
I feel that
Yeah.
maybe they're trying to do that a little bit more. They don't have to have a separate Bo-Katan show.
Mhm.
Bo-Katan is here, and this season will concentrate a little more on this character. That's how I think they're
Huh.
working it, but while still keeping the main story beats. And I think in the last season, Mando didn't the beats didn't hit all that well as they did in Ahsoka. I think they did line up
Yep.
a lot better in Ahsoka. Like
100%.
I felt it definitely felt every goddamn time I wanted more. Like I
Mhm.
totally wanted more. I was like, come
Yep.
on.
The end
So
credits start and I'd be like, "What?" Like, "No, like this it's not over."
yeah.
So, I
And I do
totally
like the end credits. It's kind of got that Game of Thrones kind of
yep.
Ahsoka music vibe to it. I do like that. Even the graphics kind of have that Game of Thrones feel to it. Very cool. I do
Yeah.
like but the series is well done. I mean, very and that's a character. When I saw Clone Wars the movie, I came out of that theater and I was not digging Ahsoka. I was like,
Really?
and I was kind of like excited because I was like, oh, they'll be like, I'm having a daughter and this will be like the coolest. You'll have a Jedi. So as I watched the series, I got to enjoy her more as she kind of matured.
Mhm.
They did a good job doing that. Um, I don't know why she just kind of was like got on my nerves a little bit in the movie, and then she grew on me. I was like, all right, maybe the movie didn't hit, but I think I was much like a lot of other people. He didn't have an apprentice, and then I always see the Lucas and Filoni. He has an apprentice. She has an apprentice, and that's how Anakin Skywalker got an apprentice. So I always thought that
True.
was kind of funny because I kind of felt the same way. She didn't have no apprentice. Well, George Lucas said it, so there she does. He
Yep.
does. So I thought that was interesting. But I just think the character has gone so far through the anime. And what's nice is Ashley Eckstein to Rosario Dawson, the handover has been so nice. And then to the young actress that
Yep.
portrayed her in the most recent flashbacks. and she
Great
does
job.
great choreography at the lightsaber fight with Hayden Christensen too. So
Yeah. Did you
well
see
done.
that, like, behind the scenes where they were
I
kinda
did.
practicing? That just surfaced on Instagram, so that was cool
I
to
just
see.
saw that the other day.
Yeah,
That's why it made me think of it because it was fresh in my head. That was really cool, and that they were great scenes. Like her coming out in the Siege of Mandalore, I was like, "Oh, check that
yeah,
out!" It was awesome. That I mean, so there's so much of that show that hit, like you said, it had the Rebels and Clone Wars. It did. It was like these are the epic things that Dave has worked on over the years, and you're getting these great homages in just the right way, right? There
yep,
wasn't anything that was so over the top. Like seeing Rex and not getting more of Rex was like, oh
yeah.
come on. That was almost a tease, man.
It
That was
yeah,
awesome. I want it
it
more.
basically was.
I want
I
it
would have
more.
loved to see more Rex.
And
He's
we
so
got that
cool.
the whole thing. We always kept wanting more. I wanted more Ezra. I wanted more of this. I wanted to see more. What was Sabine feeling there at the end? Because she sensed something, and then Ahsoka walks out there, and it's kind of Anakin, watching over them. Like, oh, so she is becoming more force sensitive. She's unlocking something. Maybe this place is helping her unlock more. I don't
I mean,
know.
heck,
You
I
know?
mean, Ahsoka kinda made it seem like they were there for a reason, and she had the signs from Morai and Anakin, so I feel like they're meant to be there for some reason. We don't know
Yeah.
why,
But
but, I
I
mean,
hope nothing happens to her because we've had the illusion, right, of she's too powerful that Ahsoka's afraid to train her. Okay. Well, she's just getting she's starting to pick up on that. But maybe
mhm,
being on pretty, she's obviously gonna, now she's kind of unlocked it. She's gonna be practicing at the very least, if not maybe it makes her more powerful there. But maybe the same thing that's calling to Balin, maybe that's what she was feeling
yeah,
or
maybe that's
hearing.
what
And
I mean, a lot of
maybe because now we don't have Balin
yeah,
possibly in the future. I don't know how or what they're going to do, if they're going to replace or what. But if we don't, and maybe she's there, what if she meets Abeloth, gets possessed or something, and goes totally dark, and Ahsoka loses her apprentice?
that would be a crazy plot twist. Yeah, I don't
Right?
know, 'cause I know a lot of people were talking and speculating that, like, Abeloth was calling out to him or to Balin, but now, with the actor's passing, I'm wondering, how are they gonna pick that up? Because I feel like he portrayed Balin phenomenally, and I feel
Yeah,
like those are gonna be very hard shoes to kind of fill,
I
but they
agree.
were setting it up for something. They introduced the Mortis gods. They kind of had, they had a Morai, they had Ahsoka, they were all kind of, there. So I feel like it's going to be
Something's going to
interesting to kind of
continue. They
see.
have to continue that. They
Yeah,
have to. I don't know in what way. I don't know if they maybe have someone that portrays Balin for like whether it's a flashback, a scene, and then they have some story about. I don't know, but they have to continue that. They have to continue that. But it'd be interesting to see. And I don't. Again, it could be so played out, like now they're going to corrupt this. But it'd be kind of cool to see, Ahsoka have to fight to keep her apprentice.
yeah, that could be interesting.
You
I
know,
mean,
and,
especially, but I mean, they've had a rocky relationship, so maybe. I mean, I feel like they definitely turned a corner, but initially, Ahsoka was very reluctant to train her. So I don't know. Maybe she'll just finally just give up on her and just be like, "Yep, that's it." But I feel like the new Ahsoka the White isn't gonna do that. So I feel like it'd be very interesting to kind of see where that goes.
too
Yeah,
true. Because Ahsoka is now Ahsoka the White. Yeah, that's
she
true.
is. So getting to even see that transformation during the Ahsoka series was awesome to me. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be pretty cool. So as far as your favorite character, then who would you say is your favorite character?
I think character, it's Vader, hands down.
Vader.
Love Darth Vader. Awesome,
Okay.
awesome. And the story behind Darth Vader. So if you love Vader, you obviously love Anakin. But I just think the rise and fall. There's no other character just more bad than him. Like walking, like you knew who he was. He was as iconic as anyone. And I loved how they did that kind of in Rogue One when he
Hmm.
went to Krennic and you just had the silhouette of a shadow. I mean, that's all you need to know, and it's Vader. Like he strikes fear in you. He's Vader. Love them.
Yeah. And it's just very powerful. Like, I feel like probably one of my favorite scenes from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was when he literally with one hand is pulling a ship down. Like, I
Yeah.
thought that was such a testament to his power, you know? Like, even if he was going to be a Jedi and kind of fulfill that role, but either way, he is a powerful force wielder. So I feel like that was insane to me.
Yeah,
That
that
was such
was.
a good scene.
Yeah, I agree. That was pretty awesome. And just ripping pieces of it out.
Yep.
Like he was badass. That's
And
Darth
even kind
Vader.
of just like pushing Reva off to the side. She was like trying to get him, and he's like, "I'm pulling a ship down right now. Like I can't. Like just I
Yeah,
thought that
you
that was
you just wait
crazy.
there. You
Yeah, you
wait there.
just please, you know, I'm handling business, but you know, I thought that was such a good scene. I mean, overall, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was like okay for me, but I thought that was like a
Yeah,
great
there were some
display.
great.
And
There were great scenes. No
yes,
doubt, no doubt. And would I have loved it to be a little bit better? Yeah, but I still enjoyed it. I didn't totally hate on it. I mean, I just don't think I just didn't think the Reva character is necessary. And if she was, I didn't totally mind it, but I didn't like it being open ended with her being able to wander later like that. That I
yeah,
didn't like. Think she should have been like when Vader
also,
got her at the end. That should have been the end.
yeah,
Like, you don't
that
live
should have
another.
just been it.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
take her out.
It almost kind of just felt like it like we knew what was going to happen with that character. At least I felt like I knew. I was like somehow she was wronged. She's going to, you know, turn back to the, you know, the good side, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I thought it was a little bit unnecessary, but
I
you know,
don't, and to leave her just kind of going on her own and like no, the whole reason you're there, Obi-Wan, is a jeopardy now. Like, no, you don't do that. So I don't know.
yeah. Okay. So, I think I am ready to take a look at your collection if you are.
I'm ready.
Heck yeah. So, mm-mm-mm. I got this video that you sent me of your room. So you got a cool little Mando setup there. Oh, the studio. Okay.
Yep, that's my little shooting table there.
Nice. All the deluxe pops, little Death Star. I feel like it's come a very long way. I remember when you were purchasing those off Facebook Marketplace and you were kind of putting this together. I feel like it's coming along phenomenal.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the process. Like it's nice because I have my own, as my wife, you have your own man cave now, right?
Yeah.
So I have my own little spot, and it's kind of cool to be able to. This is the creative zone, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't bring work stuff down here because I've had my friends say, "Oh, you, if I were you, I'd work because your desk is a sitting standing desk. Like, I'd work down there." I'm like, no, 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 no. I said, this is the creative zone. Like, work is work.
Yep.
Keep that in a totally separate zone. And this is where I do all my creativity and stuff. So I enjoy coming down here, working at my desk with my laptop, having my shooting table right here. I could just go back and forth very quickly.
Hmm.
My collection's behind me, so my inventory to photograph is readily available.
Yep.
So I do enjoy that. And that's the next part of the room I haven't touched. It's still got stuff piled up in there. I need to get that cleaned out, repaint it, and then I'll have the whole entire space. So, and there's some things I want to do with that. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I like to have, like, when you're coming down the steps, I want to put over that area. I want to put the crawl because you're going
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
angle. So I thought that would look nice coming down. Um, and then I just, kind of want to have more shelves like this
Hmm.
in one of the other walls. So I already know I need more shelves because as soon as I got this up, I already realized I outgrew it. As soon as I got it up, I realized, wow, I need more.
Yep. Definitely. I
So
mean, it
the
looks
trouble
like
of a collector.
it's definitely great. Yeah. I feel like space is our biggest enemy, unfortunately. But I mean, it looks phenomenal. I feel like you've come a very long way. I'm excited to see the final product. But I also didn't realize you have the Boba Fett and the Slave One. That is a pop I have yet to get my hands on.
Oh yes, that was one. That was one of my earliest grails.
Really?
And before I realized, like, how awesome it was, that was just, I saw that. I'm like, oh, I didn't get that. I need to get that. I was on the hunt for that for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I finally got it. I got it from one of the places in Texas. I picked that up at. So I was pumped for that.
No, it's definitely, that is one I've yet to like really even find in the wild. I feel like I very rarely see it at conventions. And there was actually one convention I went to and I didn't even realize it was there. I didn't see it until I was editing my video the like following day of the convention, and in the corner of one of the little sections it was sitting there and I was like, like you're
Mm.
kidding. So it's, when it happens, it'll happen. But I feel like that's a great Funko Pop. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I do need to get more things on my walls down here. And I have, I have like the poster from when that Star Wars exhibit I talked about
Hmm.
in the past, where it was at the Brooklyn Museum Art. Like, it's gotten so banged up because I had it mounted at the foam board, the
Yeah.
poster, but it's gotten so dinged. So I want to actually take that and get it into a frame and maybe mat it or something just a little over it to hide the damage on the corners. But I'd like to get that put up. um I started putting some of the mixed tiles up, and then there's another cool poster from Solo that I have from opening night, and I want to hang that. I'm probably going to hang that on my little wooden closet that I kind of cover up, like with my
Hmm.
shelf, because I don't want to paint that. I really like that door the way it is, and so I
Yeah.
think the poster looked cool on it. It's a really cool Solo poster. So I'll put that there. A few other things. I'll probably add some more mixed tiles. I did see one of those little neon signs. My sister, for her daughter's wedding, when my niece was getting married, they had this like nice green kind of background, like a bush kind of, you could stretch it kind of thing, and they
Hmm.
made like these nice little V's and backgrounds. But they had like these little neon signs with their names and stuff like that. And I wanted to do something like that with my logo, like, and have that. I think that would be
That
kind of
would be
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
I would
cool.
even want one of those. So definitely
Right?
let me know if you kind of figure that out, because I might want to get in one for
I'll let
myself.
you know
I think
because
that would be dope.
they're like under 300, but over two.
Yeah. I
But they're
mean,
big. They're not. I think the biggest or the smallest is like maybe 16 by 20 is the smallest. I'm not sure, so I have to look. But I thought that I was like, ooh, that's.
that would be good,
I probably have
especially if you
one
got
spot
space.
for that in this room. One spot.
Yeah.
So I haven't hung anything on the walls because if I get it, I want to have that one spot for it.
Hmm.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I get you. I get you. It's a good
Because I
goal to
know I've
have,
got
you know.
I already have the Razor Crest, and I need to find a place to put that. And I
Yes.
know I'm going to be getting the Ghost, and that's bigger than the Razor Crest.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I have an old Sony TV stand,
Hmm.
and I currently just have the flat screen on that, but I want to mount the flat screen. But I'm thinking of taking that stand and maybe making a custom display out of it. Like
Okay.
my thought was, if I measure the top of it, I can make a diorama out of that and have the
Yeah.
ghost on that. And then in the inside, I haven't tested it, but I could probably fit the Razor Crest in that. And maybe I could do a hanger. If not that, maybe something else. I could maybe make a hanger out of it, like another diorama in
Yeah.
there. I don't know. We'll see. But I figure I can at least make use of it, fix it up, make some use of it, and at least have it to a cool way to display the ships. Because those two ships, I don't know where else. Though when I had just a Razor Crest, I'm like, okay, when I get rid of this other crap on the antique table, I'll just put that right on the table. It'll look cool. I can put it on the stand if I want it. But now I'm gonna have the other one. I'm like, now what am I gonna do?
Yeah. And those are big, so I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
only
Because my friend's like,
imagine.
oh, hang them. I'm like, hang them. Have you seen the size of these things? Like,
Yeah.
you can't hang that. I mean, I'm sure
Especially,
you could, but like,
yeah, not using fishing
I have
line
no
though.
ceilings as it is now. That would be banging my head on that.
Yeah, Definitely. I mean, I know some people hang their like Lego sets and stuff. Like they'll hang them up top, and like they'll use like fishing line. They're a little bit
Yep.
lighter, definitely lighter weight than what the goes in the like a Falcon or the Razor Crest would be. But yeah, I feel like those would be way too heavy to kind of hang. So I mean, it would be cool to kind of have a display and then kind of have like a hanger bay. Like I feel like that would be really sick for sure.
Yeah, I think I'll do something with it. I'm sure, and I'll have plenty of time to work on it. Like if I get the rest of the room done, I'll have plenty of time to figure it out because I'm not getting the ghost for a while. So, it's
Yeah.
almost. I think it took almost a year to get the Razor Crest, right? So, I'm not seeing that until next fall, maybe. So I'm not
Okay.
worried. I'm not worried.
No need to have a timeline. So you also sent me some pictures along with your video, and this looks like it's kind of your shooting studio.
Yes, so that is literally right across from where I'm sitting here
Hmm.
is my shooting table. Yeah, so basically I have it down to a little bit of a science of what I'm doing lately. Um, so I have my 5 lume cubes set up. So I have my lights, my stands, and I don't really use my strobes or my DSLR, like my Canon camera. I've been using my iPhone quite basically for all of it because that was like the challenge was to do something different than you do in your day job. And at one point when I was working at Hasbro or at like Nabisco Craft, I wasn't really shooting these kind of things. And this became more of a hobby and just something I had fun doing. And my challenge to myself was try to do it with the phone.
Yep.
So now I've kind of really adapted. It's okay. How can I do it in the phone? What do I have to do to get the lighting just right? So I use the Lume Cubes. I can dial them in with my iPad, which is really nice. Um, and then I use what I call the virtual volume is my computer screen, my monitor. And that's really nice because I've been able to do a few different things. So one is I've been able to, project images on that as the backdrop. I've been able to use it for green or blue screen when needed, which has been really nice because it's obviously going to be evenly lit, right? So it's really
Yep.
nice. Um, and other things I've recently done is use 3D models. So I've actually been able to go to 3D models and render the image to have the fitting backdrop that I wanted to shoot the figure against. So that's been kind of cool too. So there's been a lot of really neat things. AI, I've started to kind of use a lot
Yep.
more in my backdrops where I think Admiral Akbar's image was one I did. I had an image of Admiral Akbar from Return of the Jedi, but I was able to remove him and all the characters out with AI and rebuild that room in a way that like the lighting matched the everything looked as, and I got like 3 different options when I did it, and I found the option that worked best, and I was able to put Admiral Akbar in his chair and shoot it as though he was in that spaceship in that scene, and it was awesome. I was like, so now seeing what you can do with uh technology and stuff like that. I'm always kind of pushing that in my imagery, trying to try something new. Like, okay, so there's AI. Well, how can I use that? I think on the Boba Fett retro reimagined, I actually used AI to do the tentacles. So that was kind of neat. And I purposely waited to do the tentacles until I got all the image shot and the background done because I
Hmm.
wanted to have that kind of half-tone pixelated comic look to it. And it adapted to it perfectly. So those are things that I find being a creative, being able to adapt to using AI and things like that is just, it's mind blowing. Mind blowing.
Definitely is. I mean, it'll only enhance it. You can only try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I feel like a lot of technology has come a very long way. Even just being able to use our phones rather than having to like make an actual like purchase an actual camera because the quality of our phones is through the roof these days. So
Yeah, it is crazy because I have really through the roof cameras,
yeah.
and they're the biggest boat anchors, and they don't get, my friend sent me something like Hasselblad's having their call for entries. Oh my god, I haven't pulled out the Hasselblad in years, and I will never get rid of it. I love it. It's a testament. To me, I didn't get the Hasselblad until I had achieved certain goals in life, you know. So that was kind of like my trophy to hitting those goals. Like I worked hard, I did this, I came to New York City, I worked for these guys, really made a footnote in being an assistant and learning, and now I'm gonna have some of my first shoots. And once I get so many under my belt, this is the camera I want to own. And when I
Yeah.
finally was able to get it, I was like, yes. Um, so I do enjoy that. Like being the best camera that you have is the one you have on you, and your phone's always on you. And the phone quality, the quality of these, they're ridiculous. I mean, you see the
Yeah.
prints. When you get prints of these things, you'll see they're ridiculously good quality because the camera and the quality is so good. And I think really for me is what makes being able to capture my iPhone like easy is because I can dial my lights in. Again, I'm using my iPad, and I have 5 lights pulled up at one time, and I can turn them on, turn them off. I can raise them, dim them. I mean, and it's just a stroke, and I could dial it in like, oh, I just want this, and I'm looking in the screen of the phone with the focus point already selected, and I'm just
Hmm.
so it's not moving, the aperture's set and everything, so I'm just dialing the light, and I can see it getting lighter or darker, just the amount I want, and it's like, yeah, this is crazy. Like to have technology like that is
Yeah.
just awesome because when you're shooting with film or digital even with strobes and stuff like that, there's that you're shooting and okay, you think but you need to do an exposure to see where you're at, just like you would on a phone. Like, okay, I need to brightness, I need to do that. But I think it's nice now that you can really dial in, like all on everything I could do is from this device. That's amazing. That's what blows me away. The
Yeah.
power of this, being able to be creative with nothing more than a phone is
For
is,
sure.
is awesome.
Yeah, and then I even see that you've got Thrawn there, which I know you did shoot this past week, and that looked awesome. That was definitely a super great image. So that
Oh,
was pretty
thank
cool to
you.
check out. Yeah.
That one, I really enjoyed doing that one because I harken back to a portrait trick. So a lot of times, you're trying to figure problem solve, right? So on this one, when I put it on the set, the problem was I was seeing, shooting low to high. Low to high
Hmm.
gives you that stature, right? That dum
Yeah.
dum. But at the same time, on the Funko, I'm seeing too much of that plastic neck. So it's like,
Yep.
what's that happy medium? So then I thought of the trick as a lot of times when I do portraits, especially of people in like corporate settings, stuff like that, man, woman, the best thing is to turn them on an angle because it's a little more flattering than this, right? So you start turning them on an angle, in which that pop automatically is on an angle with the arms, right? And then the next thing I did is bring their head a little more forward. What it does is it reduces this, right? Reduces that, and it gives more focus. Now, if I'm more like this and I'm looking straight at the lens, now the eyes are more engaging. So I took that trick from portraiture, and I'm like, okay, but how? All right, Pat, that'd be great. How do you do that with your damn Funko Pop? That's all
Yeah.
you get. So what I did is I stuck up some playing cards. You can kind of see him in the shot. I put
Uh,
playing cards to basically layer him up. So he's just like so like wedged him up on an angle, and that
hmm.
little angle was able to give me the effect in the camera lens that I needed. So that's
Nice.
why he came out, I think, pretty menacing, and all he's doing is staring at you. I
Yeah.
love it.
It definitely was a great Thrawn picture, and it was very timely. You pretty much got him in, got him on the set, and shot him.
Yeah,
So that
I
was,
could not wait, Lex. I've wanted
yeah.
that pop in my collection for such a long time. Could not wait.
Yeah, for sure. I can only imagine. Yeah, it's a cool pop. I definitely Funko has come a very long way with the finer details that they're able to kind of get onto those pops. But
100%.
yeah, I
100%.
think they did a phenomenal job with that one. And I also peeped your bounty collection there, the bounty hunter collection at the top there in the windowsill. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you see, and it's a nighttime shot. I'm sorry, because during the
Oh,
daytime, if I
you.
look up now, um, when I look up now, outside that window, I have my
Mhm.
Jawa lawn ornament.
Uh, that would have been cool. Oh,
He's
it's all good.
he's he's sitting there looking in from outside. Like, why
That's
am I
fine.
stuck out here?
Well, you're Jawa. That's why.
That's why.
But pretty cool. Is that where you're gonna kind of put the Jabba skiff when you start working on that?
Um, I have a window just like that in the other room. So when that
Okay,
room gets redone, that's where I'm hoping to put the skiff. Hoping
gotcha.
it fits. It all fits on that. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
mean, it definitely seems like a pretty big ledge, but it's the skiff is coming out pretty long, and I'm kind of a
That's
little
the
stressed.
worry. I think widthwise, I'm good.
Yeah.
Lengthwise, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
definitely
not
getting
sure.
a little stressed up there. I need one more piece, and then I'll try to measure it out and see. But it's getting longer than I thought it was. I don't know where I miscalculated because the pieces to begin with were pretty big, but it's it's getting pretty
Yeah,
long.
I mean, I've
Getting
got
pretty
the
long.
hyperspace heroes, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
still want to get the Anakin and the yellow Naboo. I
Hmm.
really want to get that. Andrea did an unboxing of it the other day, and I was like, oh, like, especially after seeing
Yeah.
it, her and having it, I'm like, I want that.
Yeah, it's a cool
And I
one.
keep
That was
getting
like one of the
tempted. I keep getting tempted, like, to get the N1 with R5D4, and I'm like, no, avoid it, avoid it.
no, you can't. It's
I
just
get tempted to
you
get
already
that,
got
but
the
I'm like, where am I going to
Grogu.
put it?
Yeah,
I know.
they're
I'm like, where am
big.
I going to put it?
Yeah,
Shoot.
that's the only reason I haven't kind of gotten into it. The only one, like when that line got announced, that I really wanted was the Anakin from the Phantom Menace, that kind of scene. But I
Yep.
just also think, where would I put that? Like, I don't feel like I have any place to kind of put that, and I don't really know how big they are. Like, I don't have them in person. Like, I'd only be able to see it if I ordered it off Amazon, just to kind of like have it. But I don't know where the heck I'd put it. So that's the only
They
reason
do
I've
have a
avoided
decent.
those.
I mean, they do take up, like, I got two of them behind right now, like Thrawn and Grogu and stuff like that. But yeah, they do take up a little bit of space, and
Yeah,
I do
they're
like
definitely
them.
they're a little, they're bigger than a typical pop, so it's almost, you kind of have to
Yeah,
have
but
like
then I look at some of the other ones I have, like Obi-Wan and the Eope. That's pretty big.
that one is big.
Just the box alone takes up a lot.
Yeah, the
My
box is
Luke
massive.
Tauntaun, Darth Vader in his chamber. That one I want to put out. That I'm going to eventually put out. I think
Definitely.
once I get my both rooms redone, I'll have enough room to do like maybe a 2 shelf Vader, homage area. I don't know.
Heck yeah.
I need to, because I have so much Vader stuff that I need to probably put out.
No,
Um,
definitely. That'd be cool.
Figures, because I have only like a few figures that you see that I have in the collection, like that are action, like action figures, whether they're Black Series or vintage.
Hmm.
Because I do have, like, the one figure I do have is I've got the 500th Darth Vader figure.
Okay.
Have you seen that one? That's pretty
I
cool.
don't think so. 500th?
Yeah, this is dope. So it's this,
Oh, that
and
is
then
pretty sick.
his
And the
helmet
head moves.
goes up and down too in it.
Wow.
So
That's
you can put
pretty
all
that's
on.
that's pretty neat. Where'd you pick that up?
Years ago, dude. This is probably one of the oldest things that I haven't ever taken out of its packaging. I've left it perfectly in its packaging, but I've had this for years. I don't even know how long.
Yeah, that's I didn't even know that was a thing, but that is definitely pretty sick. That'd be cool if they did a Funko like that too, where you can kind of like lift the head, like the helmet off and put it back on. That would be cool.
Well, the Funko that they do have of the meditation, the helmet is floating above him, like it
Hmm.
is above him, but it
Yeah,
doesn't do an up and down. That
yeah.
would be
It's
awesome.
just yeah. Me and Chris talked about that one last episode, and he even kind of showed like it has the body too, like kind of at the base of it. Like it's not just a floating head, like I had kind of thought, but
No,
it
no, no. You have Vader sitting in the little chamber.
yeah
It's a
no
good one. And another good one was they have was Yoda with his little hut. Was a cool one.
yes,
That's a
that
nice
the
one.
big celebration one. Is
Oh,
that
I
what
had
you're
that
talking
too.
about?
The Yoda with the pulling the
Like
X-wing out.
Yes, that one. Is that the one that you're talking about, or the other
No, I
one
have
where
another
oh,
one.
just
It's
the hut itself.
Yoda and the hut and his hut. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
that's a
hut
cool one.
is its own separate little hubble, and then you got
Huh,
Yoda, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But
interesting.
that's a big one, you know. And then Jabba, the Jabba, and I still haven't even opened. I have the Rancor with Luke and the Twi'lek.
Oh,
I
like
have,
the blue box 3-pack?
yeah, I haven't even
Nice.
opened that. I do have it though.
So that's a good package. I mean, it's got a pretty high price tag on it, I feel like.
Really?
I
Wow. That one,
maybe I'm
I eventually want to take
crazy.
the Rancor out and shoot it, just that because that would be
Do it.
that's something I haven't had. So that's gonna have to get busted out here one of these days. But there's an image I've been talking over with Chris, and I finally figured out the other day. I think I figured out a way to get it,
Mhm.
and so I might be trying to do that. And here I thought I had my work day for the holiday. I had asked for some time off, and I didn't get. I had to actually forego one of the days that I was taking off. So that kind of sucks. So it puts a shortening on that time. But I was hoping during that time I'd have a little bit of time to tweak this image to see if I can get it to work. So we'll see. We'll see. Because I stare at it every day, and I keep trying to think, how do I do this and how do I do that? And so something that we did is we dismantled it in two pieces. Because I'm
Okay.
thinking if you force the perspective, I don't need to have the back piece and the front piece connected. But as long as the front piece is coming towards the camera and the back piece can be brought closer, right? It still has the effect of one in front of the other. I just don't need where it's actually connected. It's like gives it a good 5-6 inches apart. But I could force that perspective, and then I could shoot what I want in this format.
Yeah.
I know that seems weird with me doing with my hands, but I
No,
think
I
I'm
get where
trying to
you're
show you what I was how I'm trying to envision this.
yeah.
So yeah, and I'll do better. I'll do better. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I used part of it to do my Jar Jar Binks shot,
Oh, okay.
right? So what I'm trying to do is I want to shoot, and I wanted this to be one of the pops that we got from the hyperspace, and we didn't. So what I want to do is shoot this. So my
Okay.
thought is I don't need to necessarily see the wires of this. I
Mhm.
could bring this close to the camera, some fashion, and have this kind of moved up and
Layer.
positioned. Yes. And shoot
Okay.
that. Even if I have to shoot it separately, like put things like almost mask it,
Mhm.
have this shot where I could take it in or out and it doesn't disrupt the other image of this. And then I can shoot Anakin. So it'd almost be like three different shots to
Yeah.
save you.
I mean, if you can make that work, I feel like that would be pretty insane. That'd be a great image. I would love to see that. Because that's a
So
pop I would love to get is like Anakin in a pod racer, but we don't have
yeah,
that yet, you know? So that would be a
I,
cool
I'm
image.
I'm surprised we don't. I'm really surprised we don't.
Definitely. So then we have this other image that you sent me, but I'm wondering like how you kind of got into collecting. What kind of drew you into starting to collect Star Wars Funko Pops?
What got me in? All right. I was the guy that didn't have anything in a studio space, like new to it was because I had prior to going there at Hasbro and having my contract there, I was
Mhm.
working as a lead creative for Apple. So I left them to really kind of go with my dream. And so I left that, and it was between that and then my next job. Um, After getting laid off, I ended up getting a job with IT and stuff like that. So, there I didn't, you bring your picture of your family, and I kind of think I had that was really it. Like I didn't have anything, and so having the Funko Pops and start bringing them in, that became the thing. It was like okay, and as it grew, it was like other people like, hey Pat, I didn't see you had this one, because I had whatever I had. I had
Mhm.
like a shelf at work,
Yeah.
and then the shelf turned into like the optometrist was like, "Hey, do you want this small metal bookshelf for your office?" I'm like, yeah, "I'll take it." So, because he would come to the office because so many of us used them, and it was right behind our office.
Mhm.
So he'd come in and he'd see my collection growing. So then I had like a 4-tier shelf that got packed, and I was like, wow, I can't believe how many things I have. And then it's just kept going and going. Again, it's I just enjoy the Star Wars Funko line. But it's my way of kind of connecting to Star Wars. Like, I would love to be able to have Black Series and
Yeah.
vintage collector money all the time. That would be great. But I think that's, to me, that would cost me more. The Funko Pops were like this the right time, the right price point, and they're just the right amount of fun. Because if you're shooting Black Series and you're shooting vintage collection and your day job, do you really want, is that your hobby too? Like, no. So
Probably not.
it kind of like, yeah, so it was that kind of perfect mix. So I think I had collected a few of the Rogue One pops, and I really enjoyed the way they looked, and that kind of
Mhm.
got me. The earlier pops didn't get me. The Rogue One kind of pulled me in, and then I got the I think my mom asked for, like, hey, what do you want for Christmas or birthday? And I think I said, like, oh, Smuggler's Bounty, this thing, it's a subscription box. Because I figured, like, I wouldn't go out and spend that money on myself necessarily. So, if I did that, that'd be great. Then I'll have little tchotchke things. And then, boom, like every other month, like another box would come. And I was like, oh, another box. Yeah. Like, it got exciting because you got some cool swag plus some Funko Pops. So I loved it. I wish they brought it back.
Me too. That would be cool. I wish I was like collecting during the Smuggler's Bounty box time.
A
I mean,
lot of my
you can,
favorite pops, honestly, Lex, have come from the Smuggler's Bounty. A
yeah,
lot of them. I'm like, man, it's such a shame too, because someone else should just pick up the reins. And say, we're going. Screw
yeah.
Amazon. We're going. Let's do it.
They might as well, because I mean, you can pick up some of the boxes on Amazon still, but I just feel like for the price point, it doesn't make sense, and it kind of takes the mystery out of it. Because would you know what you were getting, like, or you would just open the box and kind of see?
That is a very good question.
You
So
know?
you could, if you wanted to know, they did, like, I think, like, the day after it got released, they would put
Hmm.
something up, and they kind of let you know, like, oh, spoiler alert, we're going to be putting, whatever it is, and then let you know on their little blog or whatever it was, hey, we're going to announce it, what it is. And they had like a little unboxing, and you didn't want to watch it, you didn't have to. I don't think I really watched them except for one I did, but most of the time I didn't. I purposely didn't, because I wanted to. I did enjoy that surprise.
Yeah.
As weird as it is, I really enjoyed, like, oh, what am I going to get? I think the only one that I looked for was probably the Bounty Hunter one, because I wanted to see, am I getting a Boba Fett? I better get a Boba Fett. Like, and I was like, yeah, we got a Boba Fett. So Bounty Hunter was definitely one I wanted to do.
Yeah. No, because I feel like that's what I like, the mystery box idea. However, I
Yeah.
just feel like the price point doesn't match up for me. Like the Mando boxes, I feel like the idea is cool, but it's tough trying to spend that
The
money to
idea is
get
cool,
pop.
but they are
Yeah,
not Smuggler's Bounty. They are
they are
not.
not. Nope, not by
Smuggler's
any
Bounty,
means.
you got a t-shirt, one or two pops, you got the movie moments, if you will, pop rides. Like, you got some kick-ass shit.
Yep.
No doubt. Like luggage, like luggage tags. You don't think? Yeah, I travel, so I use them. Like, I have the Death Star and have a Boba Fett, and they look dope.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
like the stuff the stickers and the buttons you got in the mystery Manda boxes, the tchotchke. Come on.
Yeah.
Even
They
the
weren't even
patches
great
were eh.
quality. Yeah.
Yeah, the
They were
patches could have been
definitely.
better, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
serious, because you and I could go out and get patches with our own logos made at what, 50 to 100 a rip, and they still be better quality than how many of those boxes you think they put out? You're telling me those
A
patches, they
ton.
could have done better than what you and I could have done their own money just to do a line of patches, and
Yeah.
you're saving costs because you're doing how many? Come on. Like, to me, it was in the buttons, like, not even an enamel pin, like a button.
Yeah. And they were like crappy buttons too. So,
They're
and I
cheesy.
Yeah, and the Funko Pops too. I didn't feel like the only Funko Pop box that I was like really needing to get my hands on was the Gaming Great one that had the Jedi Revan and Bastilla Shan. That one I was like, I need to have those pops because that was cool. But the Mando ones, I liked the idea of having that mystery box, but then I kind of like got the pops and I was like, these are not like amazing, like to be spending
Well,
this
Muddy
quality of
Mando
money
was.
on.
I thought Muddy Mando was pretty fantastic.
That one, yeah. But like even just the remake with that new Mando box, like I feel like it's a lot of the same pops that we've already kind of
Yeah,
gotten,
I didn't really go for the next one, and if I
Yeah,
go for any of them, I'll get an Axe Woves, and I'll find them somewhere because I'm
yeah.
sure I will.
Marketplace.
Yeah,
Or
if I happen to go to my GameStop and that second wave of Mando mystery box is on sale, I'll pick it up then.
yeah.
I'll use my $5 towards it too. So it's not costing me even as much. But I don't find it. I mean, I did like the Death Watch with the
Yeah, that one was sick.
booster. I did like him, um, but a lot of them are Paz Vizsla. Okay, we have them with the heavy artillery. Then you have them with that. Then they released them again with a Viber blade. So I was like, we already had that, and the other pose is actually better than this one. Like even
Yep.
the last one was even better than this. So I didn't figure that one out. I was like, come on.
Yeah, definitely no Smuggler's Bounty quality boxes that we're getting from GameStop. And then you most like want to pay the full price, but then when you do, you kind of get. I know I kick myself when it goes on sale for like $5, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like you got to chill out here, like just wait it out. But I mean, it's cool to hear how you went from one shelf to a bookshelf, and now you've got multiple bookshelves of Funko Pops. So the
Yeah.
evolution of
It,
Poptography.
it evolved. It evolved. Even I started as toy photographer, right?
Yes, you
Photo
did.
GFR, right? Toy photographer. And I recently kind of rebranded into Poptography.
Mhm.
Again, it's just kind of evaluating. Like, yeah, I thought my name was slick and it was going to stick, but I felt, and talking to you and Christopher and others, that a rebrand was the right thing to do. It was that right time. Kind of start from fresh, and it's kind of really been great because it really fits. I think the new rebrand really fits with what I do, um, and it's just a lot more memorable, and I can really see more people coming over, taking a look at the work, and subscribing more so since the rebrand than before. For sure, I've been tracking that, so I know that it's definitely working. It's been a lot better, um, and it's just been fun. I think the just going over my year in review of images, because I've been watching a lot of content creators get their stuff ready for best of 2023, and so I literally did a slideshow the other day where I pulled a smart album of all my images, and I put the filter, has to be 2020 from 2023
Mhm.
and from the Star Wars group, right, of images. And I was blown away from the start to where I ended up. Like, I was like, wow, like, and and the thing is, I thought when I started the year, like, I'm making this big change from the year before. So now I want to go back and look at 2022, 2021, because I'm like that time period, because I'm like, wow, this is very interesting how I've I've grown from that to this, and now
Mhm.
from the beginning of this year to the end of this year, like how I've grown or changed the style up a little bit, and it's kind of more laser focused in the way I'm shooting it. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
It'd be a cool
I kind of
video.
changed the way I've approached the imagery a little bit.
No, for sure. I feel like seeing the evolution of how you've perfected your craft would definitely be a very interesting video. The evolution of toy photographer to poptographer,
Yeah, yeah,
kind of just segueing. But I definitely love your setup. I think your bookshelves, how you kind of have it awesome. And still got the boxes. I keep my boxes too. I know our friend Christopher is a box hater, but I definitely have my boxes. It's
I keep it just the one. It keeps them safe, right? I've got
yeah,
cats. They knock stuff over, and
totally.
that's the thing. One thing I'm glad is, like, my Poe Dameron, and a few pops I've noticed when I had them at work got damaged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People knock them over. So
Yeah.
I like keeping them on display, but I still can't 100% get rid of the box.
Yeah,
Seemed quite
I'm
awkward.
the same, especially with the smaller with the deluxe pops. I've done away with like my whole bounty hunter collection. I don't have the boxes for those. I don't have
Yeah,
the dual tape boxes. Those big ones, I kind of decided I was like, you know what, if we're gonna expand like with newer pops, because I went crazy buying old pops, and I was like, wait, they're still gonna come out with new pops. So I kind of did away with some of those bigger boxes, but I still have all my other ones. So it keeps it fresh, but it kind of looks like your main focus is Funko Pops. Like that is the focus of your collection. That's a correct
pretty much.
assumption.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say it is. Like I said, I collect, other things once in a
Mhm.
while. I have, um, so I do have figures that I don't pull out often, but I do have some winners. So so I went through a box because I didn't have anywhere to put it. So in that box, I was able to find not one but two Ray Park signed figures,
Yeah, those are crazy.
Darth Maul's
That's those are awesome.
carded. And like and I'm sure collectors are like, why don't you have them, in I really probably should get those like encased a little bit more than I do. This is one of the ones I told you about. Man, it's already yellowing already, but this is the ones that I got James Earl Jones to sign when I
Oh yeah,
pushed my wedding date back. As most people know me know that story. And here's the other one I got signed by him.
crazy. You definitely have to put those up when you kind of expand out into that other room. I feel like those have to go on display. Those are phenomenal collector's
And this
pieces.
and this is the one that I'm really excited about. As you can see, it's got the thing that says it's official. But this is from Celebration 3,
Oh wow,
signed by David
that's
Price.
crazy.
And the voice was specifically recorded for this. It has a whole explanation on the back of the box. His voice was recorded just to do this particular figure. This is
Crazy.
dope. Absolutely dope. I'm so glad I got this.
Those are
But I
definitely
found a bunch of figures like that, and these are some of I think the holy grails in that collection. When I was like, oh, these I gotta definitely put out one of these because again, they sat in a box, just
Mhm.
aging, right? Keeping in good shape, but just aging. And now I'm like, now I've got somewhere to place them. So I might get some acrylics or something to put them in, so I don't get them any more messed up. Whatever the yellowing or aging of it, it's gonna happen
It
again.
happens, yeah. Especially
But
on those type of older products, but no, those definitely deserve to be on display. Those are phenomenal pieces.
yeah,
I
I'm
can't believe
excited.
you've had them in the box this whole time. I would've ripped those open immediately. I'd been like,
Right.
"You're on my wall."
So, and the Ray Parks ones, I totally forgot because I just thought it was neat. He was readily available to get signatures on stuff more than
Mhm.
anyone else at the time, and I was like, hell yeah, Darth Maul! Like Darth Maul's awesome. Like
Yeah,
he became one of my faves in Star Wars, much like Boba Fett and Vader. Were up there,
yep.
and now I'd even say like Din Djarin is up there. Like I think he's awesome. He's and Ahsoka. It's Ezra's also when my wife asked me earlier, like, what Jedi? I said I really like Ezra. I said because his story's not we don't know his whole story yet. I said, but I like what I've seen of it so far, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful story what he's done so far. So to see what we get more of, I'm all for it. I think we're going to get great things. So I'd like to see what we get. I hope for more.
I definitely hope so because I loved seeing Ezra's progression, from a Padawan to, being almost kind of I think we're gonna see him transition into a master. So, I don't know. I think it'll be cool
Yeah,
to kind of see the rendition. Same thing like what we're getting with Ahsoka. We saw her as a Padawan and now she's a master with her own Padawan. So I feel like
yeah.
it's cool to kind of see those kind of
Ezra
characters go.
Jason,
Yeah,
you
I'm
calling it,
telling
man.
you.
I'd love to see that. Love, love,
I'll put
love.
my money on it. I think that is 100% gonna happen. If it
Have
doesn't,
to.
I'd be shocked,
I will riot as Andrea
Yeah,
says. Will riot
we'll
because
riot.
that
Yeah.
has to happen.
For
There's
sure.
only one person that should be able to do it. It's him and him alone.
And it wouldn't be Ahsoka because she already has Sabine and they're off in the other galaxy. So I mean,
Correct.
I feel like there's really only not many options. It's pretty much just Ezra. So I
That's
mean,
it.
hey, we'll see. So I got some close-ups. How long have you been collecting? Has it been
I don't
on and
know.
off?
Well, some stuff I've collected for like a lot of the Star Wars stuff that I have, like action figures,
Hmm.
over the years. And I had when I was a kid, I had a lot of stuff as a kid. I don't
Yeah.
know where it is. I'm hoping one day I'm gonna go to my mother's house and we're gonna open up a box and the Darth Vader action figure kit, case is there and there's figures in it. And I'm like, oh my god. But it has never happened yet. So I don't know
Yeah.
what's good. You know what I mean? I keep waiting for that to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. Um, but I guess for a few years, for sure, the Funkos for a little while. I missed out on the. I did not collect them at first. I wasn't in the Funkos
Hmm.
when the blue boxes were coming out and stuff like that. I really, really missed out. I think I got into it right around the first Funko Smuggler's Bounty box. That's kind of where I got into it. Like Rogue One for sure, because that's where I really tried to finish that set of Rogue One. That was like one of the few that I really finished the entire wave. I loved Rogue One set. Um, and I thought that was a really cool, strong movie. First kind of attack at a Star Wars feature film. Loved it. So I think from that point forward, it's been just Star Wars Funko Pop basically. But I collect other things. Like I still have my original, as you can kind of see up there, my original um, Jedi spirits, the ghosts.
Hmm.
From my vintage collection. Some books. That's something I do like to have that I probably often have to remind myself these are bookshelves. So
Yeah.
I should have some books. So one book, Lex, this book is something that any collector should really have. It is Awesome Sauce from Sideshow. The images in
Oh.
here, they're so inspiring. They're so good. They're
Okay.
so good. Like you get stuff like this.
Oh, that's cool. I might have to pick one of those up.
I can't always afford the statues and the 1/6 scale or whatever.
Yep.
But I
I
figured, you
feel
know
you.
what? I could at least afford the artwork in that book, and I'll get all of the. I'll have all of them. You know what I mean? Because I won't be able to put them all on
Yeah.
display, but I can look at all of them in that book. And the artist photographing them did a phenomenal job.
No,
So
definitely.
sometimes I look at that for inspiration, even.
Nice. Yeah, I get it. And I even see all your little Rogue One pops here. You definitely have. It
Oh
looks like
yeah,
all of them essentially.
I have.
So that's
I'm only missing a few of the Rogue Ones, like one or two, and they're I think Jin Urso and an Andor,
okay.
like the only ones I'm missing.
Okay. Yep.
Pretty much got them all.
Nice. Oh, and then there's your Darth Vader pop. Or no, not pop, but the Darth Vader 500 figure that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
and
Is
that
that
I what's that?
is that a small Darth Sidious?
Oh, it is.
Oh,
You are correct. That is the master replica, the mini one of Darth Sidious. That is
dang.
my of all the hilts, best hilt ever.
Yeah, it's a
That's
it's a, it's a
the
sick one.
colors and that's a really beautifully done crafted one. So when I saw that, I had to pick that up. But
Hmm.
I had that. I put some other figures I'd gotten from these other like weird kind of cartoony collection. My mom got me a Vader and a Kylo from. But I had a friend that went to Disney before I ever got to Galaxy's Edge, pick me up that Stormtrooper because I heard they had that. And after seeing Rogue One, needing to have that. So then I got that, and then it came out the Funko Pop. So I had to put the Funko Pop of young Jin, holding the Stormtrooper doll with the
Yep,
Stormtrooper doll.
perfect.
Um, and then my dad for last Christmas got me the George Lucas Stormtrooper last Christmas. He was like, I don't know if Pat has this, but I'm sure he'd love this. And he was 100% right. I was like, yes,
Okay.
I wanted this and never got it. So I'm glad that you did. That was cool.
Nice. Yeah, some cool stuff. And then you got your custom. Is that the custom Vader that you did, or is
Yeah,
that the
that's my
that's the
custom in
custom?
his little diorama.
Okay, nice. Got some good pops there. You got some movie moments. I still don't have the Mando on his speeder bike. I
Oh,
feel
I
like
love him. He's a good
it's
one.
a
You
cool
pick him
one.
up. He's cool. He's
Yeah.
a cool one.
And I didn't even realize, but I think in the pack, like the cargo pack, he's got like a helmet or something in there too, like
He's got
Boba's
Boba Fett's
helmet or
helmet.
something.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, he
crazy. It's
does.
crazy the detail that Funko can put into stuff sometimes. It amazes
Yeah.
me.
And I have my little Grogu, and I have my little. You'll see he's got his little badge from when I was on the Halcyon. So that kind of is the badge that you basically
Oh.
that you in and out when you had that on. They knew you're from the Star Cruiser.
Mhm.
So that was kind of nice. And
Yeah.
I had to put that on him because I loved my time on the Star Cruiser, which was still a thing.
Yeah, I wish I got to experience that, but
I think the
hey.
price point killed it for too many people, in my opinion.
Oh,
And
it
they should,
definitely did.
when they and I understand the cost of what they did when you're there and you see what they undergo, but
Yeah.
there has to be other ways to do it. There has to be better ways to do it. Has to
Yeah.
be.
And definitely I feel like it would have been a very if it was more price friendly to consumers and everyday Star Wars fans, I think it would have done phenomenal. If there was a way to make it a cheaper experience, I think more people would have attended it and it wouldn't have kind of gone under. But
Yeah.
you know, your typical Star Wars goer doesn't, have thousands to drop on a weekend. So it's definitely
No.
tough.
But you know what the thing is, they could also do things where they could take it off of the ship and through Batu,
Hmm.
and have more interaction with
Yeah,
Batu and maybe the other guest characters that they have. I think can
definitely.
interact with you while you're on Batu. And they could probably build like a whole area and stage like something where it's like a meet and greet slash part of the adventure. Like maybe you're
Yeah,
sitting there and you're meeting the Mandalorian, and someone, you have a moment to get a picture of them on your data pad, but all of a sudden something happens that leads you to the next piece. And I don't know. I'm sure there's something they could do because it's Disney, and the Imagineers are always phenomenal at what they do. I don't think it was the Imagineers' fault as much as I thought it was the pricing issue
definitely.
and the marketing. I think the problem is Disney is no longer becoming affordable to the common person, common family, and that's, I think, why Bob Iger is coming back, and he's going to have to reassess things because it's seeming to be very expensive, and when you do that, you exclude. And by excluding people, that's not what Walt Disney wanted for sure. He
Nope.
definitely wants to include more. He wants to expand more with Epcot and make that more future driven, more community driven. And the things that I thought were neat when I was there last was knowing that I was watching one of the rockets from SpaceX going off, and it was going off in the direction of Tomorrowland. And one of the girls at the resort was talking to me. She's an intern as an Imagineer, and she said that was Walt's vision, and that's why when he built Tomorrowland, he purposely faced it so at sunset you could see rockets going into space from the space station down there in Florida. I was like,
Wow. I don't know
brilliant,
that.
brilliant. But
Yeah.
it's just the thought that they had back then for the future that I got to witness now in my 50s. I went there to
Yeah.
celebrate my 50th. So I'm there watching this rocket going over Disney. It was just crazy. And I didn't really put two and two as I was
Mhm.
talking, because one of the guys who I was on the beach with watching, his son worked for SpaceX, so he was all excited about this. So it was like a big deal. He had his whole family out there to watch what they were doing. So it was really cool. But again, I think that visionary, and I'd like to see Walt and Disney do more. I hope they do. I mean, Galaxy's Edge is a great thing. It can only
Yes.
get better.
Yeah. I would totally take a all Star Wars theme park. I feel like that would be phenomenal. Give me different sections of the park as different, worlds or planets, and
Oh
I would
yeah, there
I
was a
would go to
fan that came
town.
out with a theme park like that, and it was
Yeah.
awesome, just like
Yeah.
that. I would have gone.
Yep.
Sign me up.
100%. For
I'd have an
sure.
annual pass.
That's probably the only park I would go to. So I think this is the last picture that you sent me. So I guess after taking a look at your entire collection and kind of reminiscing, what would you say your favorite piece in your collection is?
Ooh, that's a
If you
tough.
have one.
A favorite piece? That's brutal. Oh my gosh,
Brutal.
that's hard. A favorite piece? I don't know. I don't know.
It's a tough
A
question, for
favorite
sure.
piece. As I scan everything, I have to like, okay, you're good enough to put out, but you're not my favorite. Let me see. I love the Falcon. It's not my favorite. I love. I love Grogu to Rancor. You're not my favorite. I love Amidala and her little repulsor. I had 3D printed. You're not my favorite though. I don't know. I guess one of my favorite pops is my Han on the Tauntaun. That's got to be
Okay,
one of my all time favorites. Han on
nice.
the Tauntaun.
It's a good pop.
Because that one was one of the ones that really got me hooked for
Okay.
sure. More so than the Rogue Ones. But in the Rogue Ones, I thought for me it was important to have Bodhi. Because I felt he was a very underrated character, but without Bodhi, the whole thing wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't have the
For sure.
guts to come out and give Galen's message that nothing would have happened. So it was important out of those kind of commons. I think he was a con exclusive or something, but he was definitely one I had to have.
Okay. And then the last question, I guess, regarding your collection is, do you have what is like your most expensive piece or the most valuable to you? Doesn't have to be monetary. It can be
Uh,
monetary, it could not be monetary. I'll leave that up to you.
Well, I only have one signed. I have one signed by the Jawa who played one of the out rim Jawas or whatever, outer rim Jawas from
Okay.
Mando. So I don't have anything signed by anyone. My in my collection, it wouldn't be a Funko Pop. It would be the David Prowse Celebration 3 figure, I think.
Probably.
The
I mean, yeah.
one of those ones I pulled out of the bag and showed you. I think that has to be one of the those. That and the James Earl Jones, ones has to be one
Yeah.
of those. Funko
They
Pop,
definitely
um, I don't know. Because Funko Pops, I think it's a tough one because it's really up
it's a toss up.
to if it's out of the box, in the box, it has this sticker. Um, yeah, it's tough.
Oh, it's all good. I mean, that Darth Vader figure is definitely
I
pretty
think that's
cool.
going to be one of my most expensive things in my collection for sure.
Probably. And it's got a great story behind it too, so it's always cool to kind of hear those. And like the wedding day one, that was a cool one, so and Ray
Yeah,
Park. So, yeah. I mean, so I think that's all of the pictures that you sent. So, do you want to kind of let the people know one more time where they can kind of find you and what your channel
sure.
is?
You can find me on Poptography YT. So you can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, uh, Twitter, X, and you can even find me on Vero. I haven't really posted to Vero. I feel like I've slacked on Vero. So I gotta do you folks some good posts back up there. I think I've
Yeah.
got like at least a month or two worth of images to post. Um, but yeah, that's where you can find me, where I do creative images of Star Wars Funko Pops.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on and being my second guest. It is always a great time getting to talk Star Wars with you. You're just such an easy person to talk to. So I do appreciate you coming on and sharing your collection with me and everyone that is going to be watching this. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me on, Lex. I really had a
Absolutely.
great time. And you ever get in a jam, just need someone to yip yap and, you know, as you would say, chop Star Wars. I can chop
Yeah.
Star Wars, my friend.
Chop it up. Yeah,
I can chop it
definitely.
up.
For sure. And I definitely plan on in the future when you kind of finish your other room having you back on to kind of see the progression of how far your collection room and kind of your display setup has come. So
Uh,
definitely am excited
how
to
far
see
along my collection addiction's gotten.
that. Well, when you get the Razor Crest displayed and you kind of have that other room set up, I feel like that's going to be really
Absolutely.
cool. So
I
I'm
would love
definitely
to be back on to show you that because I'll be blown away when I get it done myself too. So I'll be like, yeah, let's show that sucker off, man. So
heck
yeah,
yeah.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching. That pretty much wraps up episode 2. Again, Patrick, thank you so much for coming on,
Thank you
and
very
I
much.
will see you guys next Thursday.
Goodbye.